but it actually is more beneficial for newer students or people who haven't done it before, because they can help guide you along better.
The way we teach is we do have hard roles and we are going to push you, but we are definitely a safety first type of school.
All right, so if I was just going to simplify it for anyone listening, any member out there, I'd say the only reason this gym exists in the first place is to help people get better. Now, fortunately, you as a member have the ability to decide what better means to you. Our job as a coaching staff is to help you bridge the gap from where you're at to where you want to be. If you're willing to come in every day and do the work to reach your goal, we're here every day to help you do that work. All right, so this will be our first podcast that we've obviously ever done, personally and as a business. So
Yeah, we're rolling with it.
I gotta do everything I can not to be recorded on record for the first time. Basically, as we get the podcast going, it's a way to communicate with all our members, BJJ and CrossFit alike, and obviously anyone outside of the gym that may have interest or may find value in what we're doing here. This first podcast, though, here with Jason Cleaston, Kevin Sawyer, and the pod mother herself, Nina. I'm not even sure how to say your last name.
Piccini.
Yeah, I always say it wrong, so I'm glad I didn't say it.
Okay.
And so Jason and Kevin obviously are both the owners of Nova Fitness, have been for a long time. Jason, you're one of the original owners, right?
Yes.
So it's from since...
About 10 years now, over a decade.
Okay, so 2010 or even before that?
Ish. Somewhere around in there, yeah.
And then Kevin, you became part of the business...
After.
End of 2013, essentially 2014. That's kind of when everything was finalized.
And so, Jason, you pretty much exclusively run the BJJ,
yes,
and make sure Kevin doesn't ruin the business as a whole when you're not looking, right? Cool.
Something like that.
Cool. And Kevin runs
everything.
I kind of do the daily tasks, yes, and then oversee the CrossFit side of things as best as I can.
Okay.
And I've seen a hard hat on your head too lately.
Yeah, I've done a little construction, so a little bit of everything. So
I'm just trying to figure out which parent I need to go to when I want stuff. You know? Like, who do I kiss up to?
If you want someone to say yes, more than likely go to Jason.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so in the last year or so, or more, really, I was hoping to start off with Kevin or Jason, either one of you, can just basically get us caught up to where we've been. Since we moved, obviously there's a ton of COVID things that went on. Every gym and place and business has gone down, so we don't have to go through all that. But basically going from like when we decided to move, can you kind of catch us up to where we're at as a gym?
Yep, I can start off and then Kevin can jump in. But basically, we had to shut down for a period, and we decided to use that time towards making a move to a new space. We were running out of our lease, and decided at that point it was best to find a space that we could grow into some more. And so we decided to do that. At the same time, we actually did not restart the jiu-jitsu program. We actually kind of changed that into more of a train at home type of thing, where we had small groups broken out into people's homes that we could kind of control things a little bit better with regard to potential spread of the virus. So we had to make that decision. It was a hard decision because we have 10 coaches that train jiu-jitsu, and all of them had to buy into this, and it was a lot of discussions. So that's on the jiu-jitsu side, and Kevin can talk about the CrossFit side.
So before we even get, so where are we at with jiu-jitsu right now?
Yeah, so
we're not in the gym rolling.
Nope, we still have small groups, between 3 and 6 people or so, training at a few locations outside of the facility. This is obviously to control risk of spreading the virus or be able to contact trace more easily. So we're basically just keeping those groups up and running. So the coaches have actually been training pretty much right along. We did stop a couple times, especially during the peaks of the infections happening at the hospital. My wife works at RGH, so we get pretty regular updates on how things go, as your wife does too.
Oh yeah.
So that helped a lot actually, and none of us ended up catching the virus or getting sick, so the strategy seemed to be working pretty well, and I think we're going to stick with that up until May 1st. That's our plan. We're going to reopen things, or start to reopen, using small groups, hopefully still on May 1st here.
I definitely want to come back to that, especially when we get restarted and get in that conversation. So where are we at with CrossFit and just the gym overall, Kevin?
So with the gym overall, kind of go over a little bit what Jason was talking about in the beginning, like moving our lease and why we changed buildings and stuff. So part of the reason why we did move is our old location. It was great in the beginning, allowed us the opportunity to do all the training that we wanted to, have great access to the outdoor side of the building. But then as the neighborhood kind of grew around us, it kind of grew us and kind of cornered us in. So parking became an issue again, not having the space outside to work out. So a lot of the things that were a big draw actually became an inconvenience for the members, and then kind of took away from their experience. So as our lease started coming to an end, we knew that actually our rent was going to go up, and it wasn't the ideal situation for us anymore. So that was really kind of the driving force of why we wanted to find a new location, was to continue that positive experience for all our members. And so that's why we're in the building we are now. And so if we go into the CrossFit side of things right now, we definitely, I wouldn't say we're 100% recovered from COVID and the shutdown, but we're well on our way there. We've actually brought back all the coaches, so that's been great. We actually have more classes now than we did before, and then participation-wise, for the actual classes, for the majority of the classes, we probably have a higher attendance rate than we had before, but obviously there are still specific times of days in which we are trying to recruit some new members again and bring back some of the older members.
Awesome. It's been a year, huh? Guys, look at us now. All right, so going forward, like obviously new building, new location, we are still trying not to knock down walls. We're still putting paint on the walls. Where are we going, I guess, next? If we were to look, obviously May 1st is what you mentioned, Jason.
Yep.
So I was going to say, 30 days from now, which is actually May 1st, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you expect to be with the jiu-jitsu program?
Yeah, so we're trying to get it so that we have kind of small groups, no larger than 8 in size, that are training together. We're going to have one coach per group is the idea, and I've actually reached out to all the coaches. All of them are coming back, which is awesome. And we're going to start off that way, and as vaccine becomes more available, we'll reevaluate as we're going. We might actually be able to get to larger group classes, hopefully faster, if the vaccine rollout continues to accelerate. And as we know, they just opened it up to 30 and over for the vaccine. So it's not a requirement that you have the vaccine. We'll work around it. Some people just can't get it for whatever reason. That's no problem. We'll just make sure that you're comfortable with the group that you're training with, and that way there's no issues with that. So we're basically trying to find, there's groups that have already been training together, and then if we want to bring new members in, we just have to make sure that everyone in the group is comfortable with that. So that's kind of the approach we're going to take for the immediate future.
So compared to how it was before, I can't remember, there was about 2 classes a night or 3 classes a night at the old location?
There was 2 classes a night, and those were intermediate and advanced class,
right.
And those were basically open to any new members that were coming in. We'd start off new members in the fundamentals class, and then we, as they progressed, they would move up to the advanced class. And then we also had noon classes, and we also had morning classes as well.
Right,
so
right.
we had certain days, there's 3 classes, 4 classes a day,
Right.
and that's actually...
So with the smaller groups, like you're saying, do you think we're going to have more classes, or...?
We're going to have to kind of see. It's really based on the coach availability and other people's availability. So schedule-wise, I'm still kind of looking at it. We have a survey out. We got some results back. We're going to be sending out another survey, a little more targeted this time, to the members. We actually have them all in a kind of a group chat, which we can share that that information for anyone else that would like to get involved with the group that we have a discussion on. So this way they can ask questions and have access to be able to interact with the coaches electronically. We use GroupMe, which is another app that's not Facebook or some of those other ones. And so
Kind of sounds exclusive.
it is. And it helps to kind of keep in touch with everybody. And we've also been having town hall discussions. So I had one last week on Thursday. We had about 15 students and a bunch of coaches that joined just to hear the updates and get the information. And we're doing those regularly, probably every couple weeks or so. We're going to do a town hall. We're actually planning to bring the members in at some point ahead of the actual start of the May 1st date, just to kind of get everyone used to the facility, do kind of a walkthrough of how things are going to go, discuss procedures, all that type of stuff. And myself and my counterpart Darren is going to be helping me with this reopening. Darren has been with the program for as long as I've been training jiu-jitsu, and we've been training together for probably 15 years at this point. So I really trust him, and he's a great resource, and he's going to help us with the reopening, help me with it because I need help. So
I used to mostly just roll at open mat and stuff and just get beat down by Skylar and Casey, but every time I did take class, Darren was my professor.
Yes.
Learned. And I would like to say I learned a lot from him, but I don't know that much as it is. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's good enough. All right, so I feel like I just learned a lot in that moment.
Yeah.
I work here. I still didn't know all that. Awesome. I imagine if you're the cleaning side of jiu-jitsu is anything like how we do with the CrossFit, it'll be nice and sanitary. Maybe
it has to. Must always be.
You will
clean.
leave cleaner than you come in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin. Get us caught up again. Where are we going to be 30 days from now in CrossFit? Or, I mean, obviously we're doing classes right now. We've been running our program kind of full swing-ish with some protocols in place, but I know as we've discussed, there's a lot of things on the agenda for just the building, the CrossFit program itself, the services we offer. So
I guess it's kind of a lot of things to go over. So if we look at just the facility itself first, actually we have good contractors here right now working and trying to finish up the showers. So they're in there doing tile work. And I know you were painting earlier today and trying to take advantage of some of these nice days and get the outside of the building finished painted as well. So construction-wise, we're looking to have everything done by that May 1st date. So that shower's done, interior painting completely done, exterior painting completely done. And then I guess one of the things we've always talked about is having a proper outdoor space to work out. And that's actually something we're working on in the month of April with the Pike Company and also the city as well too. So trying to get the proper permits there and schedule the contractors to come back and do additional work to make sure that our members can have a proper place to work out outside that's enjoyable and safe. So.
what do you mean? You working on a curved parking lot is unsafe?
Yeah, our sloped parking lot, and then our neighbors.
Some people like chasing their barbell.
That is true.
I think it's an added part of the workout when your
just
barbell
add,
rolls away and you
barrel
have to do it.
rolls to the warm up.
Yeah. So that part of it wasn't too bad, but dealing with the neighbors' phone calls on the other hand, that was something that we'll have to address as well too. So I think getting moving our outdoor location to the side of the building instead of the back of the building actually should help a lot with that. And then again, it should also just make the experience better for the members, and ultimately that's always what we're trying to strive for. So I think that's for mostly this kind of wraps up the facility stuff. CrossFit wise, yeah, like you talked about, we've been kind of humming right along with our CrossFit classes. We've adapted to the best of our ability, making sure that our members have a great experience. Number two, are safe while they're here, and then get a great training while they come in as well too. So, like I said, we've added some classes due to controlling the class size, making the class sizes smaller, making sure people are adequately spread apart, and then added some additional cleaning protocols in. Everything from changing to disposable disinfectant wipes to having spraying and fogging machines to clean equipment. So those are probably really the two main ones. So the equipment's always cleaned before the class starts and after the class starts. And again, the members, typically still have to wear their masks, stay away from one another. And then if anybody has any personal concerns and wishes to separate themselves even a little bit more, we'll try to accommodate them as best as possible. So that's kind of the daily class schedule for right now. And then like you talked about coming May, we're definitely always trying to make sure we're meeting the needs and the demands of the membership base. So hopefully that comes into adding more class times if it's needed, as the membership grows, making sure that our coaches are always continuing to learn and educate themselves so that we can provide the best guidance possible. And then we would love to get back to doing a lot of our community-oriented events, not just for things for the members that do socially inside of the gym, but getting back to doing things out in the community again as well too. So that was kind of a big thing that I know a lot of the members enjoyed doing. And then hopefully we'll be able to get back to that by the time May, June, July rolls around.
Exciting.
Sweet. So Neen, as a member...
On the hot seat.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, is there any thoughts you've had, any questions for Kevin or Jason, obviously? I know you haven't seen the jiu-jitsu since you've been here, but...
No, I haven't. I've never even tried jiu-jitsu. I did date a guy who broke his face doing jiu-jitsu. So
It can hurt sometimes.
No, I'm just interested to kind of see how it's all going to work and how... I don't know, is there like crossover with membership? Like I know Matt was saying, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, Matt's tried it.
Yeah, I actually look forward. I've read 2 books on jiu-jitsu over the summer when the entire time I haven't been able to do any jiu-jitsu. And, if you want to come learn nothing about jiu-jitsu, come roll with me. I don't know what I'm doing, but it is fun.
Yeah, it's something that no matter how long you train, the depth just goes even deeper. It's like, it's like 3D chess. And it's a different type of energy you're using when you're training. Matt can tell you because he's very strong, right? But when he came in and tried to grapple with some of the smaller guys, he could tell you that strength didn't really help him much at first.
I think the first time I rolled with you, Jason, I was like, all right, clearly Jason can kick my ass. I wasn't questioning that, but I was like, I'm just going to, just resist to do anything. And I meant it, hard. I'm just going to refuse to do anything. It didn't fucking matter. He came over me like a tidal wave. I didn't have control of my own body. I couldn't say no. It was, not only humbling, but a little alarming. I was like, holy crap. Because some of the other guys I'd rolled with were, they're obviously also kicked my butt, but I could resist a little. I could fight him off a little. It was no even pretending that I could stop Jason for a second.
Yeah.
And then, so.
What do you do with people who have never done it before but have anxiety being confined like that? Because I feel like that's going to be me. If I try it, I'm going to just freak out.
And actually, there's a lot of women that are starting to train more with us, and we are actually looking to eventually open up women's classes.
Okay.
And we think rolling with guys is good as well, but we also want to have kind of a women's only class at some point down the road here very shortly. We have a few that I train that are interested in eventually teaching that class, and I'm working with them on a regular basis. Susanna is one of them, and she's been training with us for a number of years, making a lot of progress. And for a beginner person starting out, that's why we have the fundamentals classes. It's really designed to be you're not full contact sparring. That is not part of the fundamentals at all.
Okay.
All fundamentals is just basically learning your basic positions, how to maneuver, how to use your leverage, some control, and then learning some attacks. But there's no active grappling, sparring. We do kind of positional stuff at first. And then once you're more comfortable with it, you've gotten some experience under your belt, then we allow you to start to spar more if you want to when you're ready.
Okay.
So that's kind of
one of the things that when I started rolling, obviously getting roughed up by a black belt is not a shocker. But when I was rolling with some of the girls, it was a lot of the girls, guys even, they're kind of unassuming that do jiu-jitsu but are really skilled. And you realize, these girls are Slouches, they're no joke. They know how to defend themselves, and it started making me realize, wow, like I think my wife should do jiu-jitsu. I try to tell her that just for her own self-defense benefit.
Yep,
it's real. And then I was like, well, one day if I have a daughter or sons or any kids, I mean, you should do jiu-jitsu. Like there's a baseline.
Yeah.
Self-defense fundamentals,
Exactly. I think that's true, and I also am planning to, this is something else we're working on, is more self-defense. We are actually working on trying to develop some self-defense style programming that can be used for, just regular everyday things that happen that you want to be able to defend yourself against. So I've worked with some people on it already. We started developing the curriculum for that. So we're going to be introducing that as well going forward.
That's cool.
That's really great because as a female, I have all of my knowledge from Miss Congeniality.
Hey, everyone should watch that movie. So that's a step, but yeah. It's some of the things, like, it's not like you're learning, like, Jackie Chan level Bruce Lee.
Nope. It's basics.
It's basic fundamentals of where not to put yourself, how not to expose yourself to being vulnerable and to attack, or if you are assaulted, how to get yourself away from it, if nothing else. And
and that's the type of thing. We want to use practical methods to extract yourself from situations. And we have some really good defense tactics that can be used by anybody. And we've, our head instructor, Roy Harris, he's come in a couple times and done seminars to kind of introduce the concepts of it. And we've kind of taken that and developed it further. And we're going to have Roy back again to do more of those. So that's kind of something we're working on.
Cool. Oh, that's great. I mean, I didn't even know we had any of those things going on, and I'm very happy. I'm excited.
Lots of ideas.
So we're in the process.
Yes.
We're not just waiting for COVID to come by. We're working in the dark, We're working.
That's
all
awesome.
right.
I think there is one thing to add. Like if we go back to your question, Nina, about being nervous and about like being freaked out or spazzing out or anything. And I think it's intimidating for people who don't actually know a lot about BJJ, but it's actually very beneficial to work with like the upper belts. So that is actually one thing where it kind of becomes intimidating for new people because they think, oh, someone's more experienced. I don't want to roll with them, or I don't want to be their partner because I'm going to get hurt, or whatever it is, or just be feeling intimidated. But it actually is more beneficial for newer students or people who haven't done it before because they can help guide you along better. So actually, the more experience that your training partner has, they can kind of make sure that they'll be in more control. So they have better anticipation of almost what you're going to do, so that they can make sure that, hey, look, you're putting yourself maybe in a dangerous position. Then they can kind of guide you and make sure that, hey, look, we're always under control. You don't have to worry about someone who's new as well too, getting in a compromised position, people injuring each other on accident. Whereas again, if you're brand new, again, it can be intimidating to work with a higher belt, but it actually is much safer. And all of our students that are higher belts really are great teachers.
Yes.
And so I would definitely say that's probably one of the great benefits of our program, is that we can take somebody who's very new, someone who is intimidated and nervous, and have them work with one of our higher belts and have a great experience, in that class. So
yeah, I was definitely rather kind of intimidated to try it, but I just had, I saw it every single day. I knew all the guys especially the guys that would cross over to come to CrossFit class and do jiu-jitsu. I'm like, well, I mean, they do it. How bad could it be? That's what I mean, like, I see them work out. I can, and once I started, I realized, oh, this isn't a big deal at all. This is just show up and we'll start and, just like a workout. We start with the warm-up. We start, we get into the first move of the day. We go through how to do it. Here's what you're going to do with your partner. And then when your partner does this, you do this. You get basic instruction, and we drill it. And then you get some free roll time. So I shouldn't let my... don't listen to my over-dramatization of Jason whipping on me. That you could let me win once in a while if you think about it. But that would be nice. Good for my confidence. But don't let me over-dramatize the difficulty of it. It's just... it
is a little bit of a differentiator with our school. The way we teach is we do have hard rolls and we are going to push you, but we are definitely a safety first type of school. We want everyone to feel comfortable. We want everyone to learn. So learning is a really big thing. I want all my coaches and even my students to be able to help teach and show and educate. And that's kind of the approach we've taken since the beginning. And that's been a really good thing for us.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely get that vibe when I'm in there. I was actually very pleased to have instruction because I felt so stupid and clueless when I first got on the mat. But then, really, Casey, Skyler were a couple of the main coaches I got to roll. And I mean, if I wasn't talking shit, they would teach me stuff. And then when I was talking shit, they would teach me why I shouldn't talk shit, which is valuable in its own. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I think that's the same approach, that oversees kind of how we do CrossFit is one of our first priorities is the reason we're coaching in the first place is to make sure people don't get hurt. Because a lot of people get hurt in the gym. A lot of people get hurt at gyms doing CrossFit, and we've tried to go out of our way to make sure that's not what we do. Or
you
what
guys
we're known
scale
for.
stuff for people,
Of
right?
course, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of gyms scale stuff. It's just sometimes there's an art to picking and choosing and communicating with a member and helping them understand how to help themselves, scale. I mean, you call it scaling. You can, just having a good, productive workout.
And I think also just you guys really focus on areas where people have, limitations as far as flexibility goes, and you kind of work around those and try to develop, you kind of tailor the programming to match their needs.
Yeah, a lot of times we want workouts done at what we call relative intensity. I feel like the word intensity sort of scares people, but it just means whatever is a good workout for you today on this given set of movements. The word intensity doesn't mean balls to the wall. It means what is going to challenge you and develop you into what you need / should be. And there are obviously people who come in with noticeable limitations, or sometimes it's not even like their mobility is limited. It's just they don't have good control of their own body and space and things, which is very important in jiu-jitsu if you're following along, but also in CrossFit, just being a fitter person. So it's just helping people most of the time learn how to use their own body, whether their body's in some rusty, beat-up condition, or if they're, hey, I'm 17 years old and I would like to try lifting weights. Okay, and you get everyone on the spectrum, but wherever you're at and wherever you want to be, we can try to bridge that gap. Sometimes it takes a little longer to build the bridge, but...
Yeah, but that approach, I mean, in terms of new people coming into the CrossFit gym as a member, that's a wonderful thing to have in one of your first classes where the coach is just there for your safety and they just want to make sure you're getting a good workout and you're moving properly and having a nice time.
We try as we get new people to come in, especially new people that have not had a good background of fitness or exercise, to just understand what they're wanting to get out of it and not projecting what we think they should do. Mm-hmm. I think at times, I know for myself as a personal trainer and just even teaching CrossFit classes, I've accidentally assumed I knew what this person wanted, or I thought this is what you should do, but they didn't really want that either, and it became situations where I didn't give them exactly what they needed or what they wanted, and just because I didn't understand what they were looking for, and the situation gets kind of congested, I guess you could say. But now I think overall we do a pretty good job. Hey, this is what our program is. This is what we offer. What are you looking for? Okay, here's where we can meet. And then ultimately they have control over their workout, what they choose to do or not. We don't make people do anything.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes with one of the big principles that we guide the business with, and it's that self-awareness. And that under the self-awareness banner is kind of knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your weaknesses are, and trying to work on those. But also, taking accountability of your fitness, and you mentioned it before, Matt. What are your goals? What do you want to be able to do? And then we can adjust things to give you the guidance and hopefully to meet some of those goals. Because if it is someone who just comes in and is a dad that wants to be able to play with their kids and get off the ground without any pains, if it's a 20-year-old athlete who wants to compete in CrossFit, if it's a 70-year-old grandma who wants to be able to pick up her grandson, those are all things that we can tailor to that individual. But they have to take the onus and understand what they want to get out of coming into class. And so we try to teach all the members how to kind of get towards their goal, and really reevaluate their goal as well too as things progress, because a lot of times people might have set a goal and it actually might be something that's kind of a lower bar than what they're capable of. And so one of the other things is realizing, hey, once I achieve that one, what is my next goal? Like, what do I want to be able to achieve next? What is something that is now challenging for me that I never thought I could be able to do before? And then, give them that confidence and help lead them along the way to kind of meet those new goals. So.
Excellent.
It's great.
All right. So we will be doing a podcast probably in another week where we'll be doing some Q&A from members. So if you're listening to this, any questions you have about jiu-jitsu, CrossFit, the business itself, what we're doing, maybe even something you recommend, maybe we do, we'll be doing some Q&A to answer the questions directly. And then I know there's a lot of things that, especially when I first was coming, so when I first started CrossFit a few years ago, or obviously I still have questions on jiu-jitsu all the time, things that come into my mind that we'll just be answering directly. So any members listening to this, tell a friend, ask a friend, anyone have other questions, and it can be things simple as, how do I do this? What should I do if I want to start this, that? I've been doing jiu-jitsu, but, and then they have an additional question. Please ask, and we will get the answers, if not from myself, from Jason. Probably not Kevin.
If you know the answer, then it's probably good enough.
And if we don't have the answer, we'll make it up. No, I'm kidding. We won't make it up. We'll find out for you. But stay tuned, and we will try to regularly update everyone periodically. I'd like to think maybe once a week we'll be doing a podcast. We'll be hearing from our members of the month. We'll have different guests on that may have a specialty, especially some of our other jiu-jitsu instructors. Mm-hmm. I know we want to get a little more communication from jiu-jitsu out. You guys are like that. You guys are like in that little room doing your secret rolling things with your colorful belts.
It's been tough to kind of suss through what's the right thing to do at the right time. So we've been challenged with that, but we're getting there.
That's the beautiful thing about around here. I don't know how we do it some days, but we figure it out.
We figure it out.
Yes. It's an exciting and sort of scary way to live. But all right, is there anything else you want to add? Hey, if you're listening to this and not a member, like, what might you say to them?
Oh, okay. I guess we'll go first more so on the CrossFit side of things. If you are someone who is interested in CrossFit, I would probably say the number one thing we hear the most is, I have to get in shape before I go try CrossFit. And it's probably one of the number one responses that does drive me a little bit crazy, because the whole idea of coming into class is that we can help guide you into getting fit and making sure that you are safe on the way there. So definitely don't be worried about where your fitness level is at or your abilities. Come in. We have very experienced and educated coaches that can help anybody. The other thing is, if you're someone who's seasoned at CrossFit and don't think you need coaching,
you need coaching.
Exactly. I don't think there's a single
I'm experienced at CrossFit and I need coaching
athlete that doesn't have a coach. So, having another set of eyes, getting some advice from an outside source is definitely something that's beneficial. And then the other part of it too is, you can't replicate the feeling of being in that community when you're working on your own, when you're doing your accomplishments. And say you even do reach your goals and you kind of look around and there's no one to high five, it's kind of like, what's it all for? So definitely 100%. If you're interested in CrossFit, reach out and, we'll be able to help anybody in that.
So for jiu-jitsu, same thing. There's nothing that you can really do to prepare you for training jiu-jitsu, because there's just not a lot of things that are like it unless you're doing wrestling. That would be similar, but you don't really need to do anything to prepare. The fundamentals classes are great. They'll help you get that initial training that you need. We're still kind of working out the details when the program restarts about new members joining. We haven't really figured all that part out yet, but we're working on it. So stay tuned on that one.
All right, cool. Hey,
Awesome.
drink your water, eat your vegetables, look both ways before you cross the road. See you next time.